Good afternoon, I'm Shane from Direct Bird Products. Today what I'm just going to show you is just a few little bits on egg food, mainly on how I've changed over last 5 years to what I was using to what I'm using now, and it's just to benefit me and how I feed the birds and the different varieties of birds that I'm feeding, say your brambles, yellow hammers and chaffinches. Obviously they need a little bit more protein than your canaries would, for instance. So before I do that, I'm just going to talk to you about obviously the egg food itself. We do a wide range of egg foods, the Orlux, Deli Nature, your red egg foods, Kings, Versalaga Classic. We do all of them. For me, I've opted for my own mix over last 2 years just because extra protein in for your chaffinches and yellowhammers. You want your birds that need more protein as they feed, like your chaffinches for instance, as I explained in the video on Friday, same as the yellowhammers and brambles. They need more protein because they come sort of soft bills through breeding season, so they do need a lot more protein to sustain the breeding condition and obviously for the young. But yeah, I mean, as far as egg food goes, there's a lot of research going into them, so I don't tend to add as much now as what I used to in the way of protein boosters, but you'll see that shortly. There's not much difference in them, as I said. I do tend to prefer, or I have over the years, the King's egg food. It smells fantastic. I mean, our premium one is quite similar. The Versalaga Classic is quite coarse. I mean, in years ago when I lived up north, I used to only use EMP. That's from Donald Cook. The reason I used that was just because Donald Cook was close to where I lived and it was convenient for me. The red egg food, perfect for your mules, hybrids, anything that's brown ground that you're going to colour feed. Like I said, all your new colours, that's ideal. You don't need to add colour food with this if you want to use it that way. So that's them three. You'll see obviously pictures of them individually to take a closer look. They all contain, like I said, around the same variety of things: your biscuit, your egg food mix, Niger, obviously some hemp in this one. So they are quite similar. Right, so my mix consists of similar mixes to this, but it does have shrimp, dried shrimp into it, purely because what I didn't want to do is mix 2 or 3 different batches up for the different birds. For instance, like green finches, they'll eat this, canaries will eat it, yellowhammers need the extra protein like I've explained, but it is a coarser mix. Very sweet, it has got a lot of honey in there, but I'll come on to that later. Firstly, what I'll start with, birds are very conditioned, they are singing their heads off at the moment. So how I used to do it is 50-50 mix with egg food. I'm not going to use all that, but this is just a demonstration because obviously I've already fed the birds already and I don't want to waste as much as possible. So call it a 50-50 mix. Your egg food, I'll put that there, and around the same amount of soap seed, germinated. Then in goes garden peas, petit pois, any frozen peas. Just warm up 1 cup of water in there or microwave them and let them cool. Scrambled egg, and carrot. Used to use sweet corn in this old mix, but I don't no longer in my new mix. I'm not messing about trying to mix stuff in that I don't use anymore. And one that may surprise you, satsuma or orange. Just squeeze the juice in, or the orange juice is just adds extra vitamin C. Better smell. Then I would just give that a mix round. Plenty of variety in there for all your birds. Like I said, the green finches reared off this, no problem whatsoever for me. Canaries would devour it in no time. And that's how I used to mix it. But now, obviously, over the years, I've changed it to adapt for the different species of birds that we are breeding. I mean, don't get me wrong, there is nothing wrong with this mix whatsoever. And if I ever needed to go back to it, there's no doubt I would. I mean, with that orange in there, the citrus speaks for itself. But obviously, not all birds will like that smell or like that taste. So just monitor them. If you are going to try that mix, just monitor them, because they might not take to it too much. Now I'm going to show you what I used last 2 years and what I remain using. So basically, same thing again. Egg food. This is my own egg food. 50% mix of soak seed. I don't want to feed the soak seed in with the egg food so much, because I feed them soak seed separately. Same again. Carrot. Peas, put all them in there. Give that a mix, because obviously the carrot and the peas have got quite a bit of moisture in there, but not as much soak seed as what you'd imagine there to be. I don't use boiled egg or scrambled egg as I did previously, just because I think that this mix has got quite a lot of protein in from what I'm going to add next. Now, what I do is dried mealworms, just a cupful, and what I tend to do is just to basically crush them up, and at least that way in there they're getting a good mix around. Dried mealworms, a lot of people seem to think that because they've been dried there's not as much protein in, but there definitely is. I've fed my starlings their starling mix with dried mealworms in a long time when the mealworms are on shortage, and they do the same trick. So they all crushed up. So it doesn't amount to much when you do it like that. Just extra protein. Then again, mix that around. So in next, Omnivit, which I've explained before. Now, I don't feed this as much if I've got the cockbirds in. I've already said this before, that the cockbirds with this will become over aggressive. If I've got hens in there, like if I'm running a trio or a greenfinch, I'll take the cockbird away, then that's ideal. But this is only for when I would feed when the hen is on eggs, when she's on chicks. When the chicks fledge, I don't tend to mix Omnivit in. I don't feel the need. I think that would be giving them a bit too much for younger birds. So Omnivit is good in its doses. And then one thing that might surprise you is fonio paddy. Very fine seed, and a lot of people say that fonio paddy would get lost in the mix. But for me, fonio paddy is one that I will use, just because it does help combat coccidosis, or going live in your birds. And if it's mixed in properly, the seeds will get everywhere. And last but not least, blue moor. Same thing again. I've not put all that blue moor in there for one reason, which I'll show you shortly. When you've got young chicks that's just left the nest, for instance, they will start picking up the smaller seeds, and you will see them between 15 and 22 days. They'll start eating on their own, but you want to get that goodness into them straight away, such as your blue moor. It is quite a fatty seed, so don't go mad with it. Fonio paddy, I'll do the same thing. So what I would do now is obviously put, let me get another one. So I put an egg food drawer of your egg food mix, then a sprinkle of fonio paddy over the top, sprinkle of blue moor. At least that way any chicks that have left the nest will pick at that straight away. Obviously there's blue moor in there, it's really fine, and then I just offer that to my birds as it is. Just like previously explained, that you can, if you're going out to work all day, fill them up. It's not going to cause any problems. But one thing I have tended to realise, by feeding them like Hussein did, little and often, they will be down on that straight away, and they will constantly be taking the bits in. So if I was to come back in an hour, there'd still be food in there. If I top it up again, I guarantee you they'd be back down on it again. So it's just little tips like that that obviously you're not going to think about them. And so many people said to me, I didn't think about that. You know, I've had my ways for a long time and I haven't thought about that. And you know, these little tips do help people. But I mean, the both mixers is nothing. There's absolutely nothing wrong with both of them. Look contrastingly different, as you'll see in the pictures. But this way, the new one especially, I can offer that to all the birds and have 100% confidence in the fact that they're going to get enough protein from, like I said, the chaffinches and stuff. Green finches the same, canaries the same. When I've had canaries in the past, I was mixing two mixes up, one mix for the British, one mix for the canaries, the canary one with couscous and stuff like that. But I really don't feel the need to anymore. I think this mix is suffice. It's got plenty of protein in, and it will do the job. The adult birds will obviously regurgitate that for the young uns, and they'll eat it themselves. It does smell overpowering, obviously with the Omnivit in, but like I said, I'm not going mad on it. It's just a matter of finding something that suits you, and I'm quite glad to see there's so many people actually sharing their egg food mixes, and there is so many different variations that people are using. I mean, my mix is suitable for me, but there's so many other options that you could use. I mean, for instance, Blue Moor is not cheap, Fonio Paddy is not cheap, so you don't need to use them. If you want to, then fair enough, but you don't need to. Same with egg food. Egg food nowadays is not cheap, and especially the continental brands are hard to get in from obviously overseas due to the fact that we're now obviously out of the EU. And it is proving hard to get certain things, but that is my mix. I know Mark does his differently, and there is, like I said, so many ways. But if you've got a mix that is working, and then why want to change it? This is for the beginners that they're new to the hobby and they think that egg food is basically just your egg food. But when they start asking, what do you add to it? This is exactly what it is. But find what works for you, and if you have a fantastic breeding season on your mix that you're using, don't feel the need to change it. Just stick to what works, and you won't go wrong with that. That goes across the line with anything on your bird room. Find what works for you and use that. So I hope this midweek tip has helped you. If you have, like and subscribe. Leave us a comment if not. Just saying, you know, even your opinions on what you think it should be. But we've got a treat for you coming up on Friday. We are going to be filming it probably over the next couple of days. I mean, the weather outside now is still snowing intermittently. It's been snowing for the last 2 days. It's not too bad. But don't forget to put baths on your birds. Just because you think it's cold outside, they don't need a bath. They need water, they need a bath. And also, don't forget about your wild birds. Feed them, because they're going to be struggling for food this time of year. So feed them. Like I said, back to that. On Friday we've got the episode that'll be loaded for 7 o'clock, so I hope you enjoy that. It is on yellowhammers, brambles and chaffinches. Just explaining how I breed them, and also we've got a special feature from Kev Taylor. Kev's done really well with them over the last few years, and I'm quite happy that I can include other people into these videos. It's not just about me, and seeing other people's variations of how they do stuff, albeit I've seen Kev's video and it is almost on par with what I did last year. But you decide for yourself. Stay safe and keep wrapped up. Have a good evening and thanks for watching.